All right, so we're hooked up to the trailer. We're gonna go get some hay at a place I've never taken you along to before, but I go there several times a year and get hay. And it just so happens that the guy there is also a YouTuber. And so we're gonna talk to him and maybe see some of what he's got going on. So we'll get on that right after this. All right, welcome back. If you haven't seen my videos before, I'm Ross the Oliver Man. We're on the road again. I bought, I don't know how much hay it was, 25, 35 bales, something like that. Maybe not that many. But anyway, I'm on the last 6. And so I talked to it's a father and son that sell this hay. And the son is a YouTuber, the GM Man. So we're gonna check out some of what they got going on, and yeah, so I'll bring you back when we get there. Well, I'll let you take us on a tour here.
That's fine. Dad, you wanna?
I'll tell everybody this is the GM Man.
Yep.
And he's got a YouTube channel, and I'll try to put the link in there so we can check that out. But I've known them for years, and I buy hay from him here and again, and I don't know, we thought it'd be fun to check out what he's got going on. Yeah.
See what we can. So basically, just a rundown on my channel is given the name of GM Man. I'm big. General Motors is kind of what I grew up on. We moved down here to my grandma and grandpa's farm back in, what, 2008?
Which, fun fact, this was actually my grandma's grandparents' farm. Yep. Back in the day, so.
Yep, so Dad got remarried, we started the hay farm back up, and then I kind of just do my YouTube here and there on the farm, on the trucks, whatever it may be, truck shows, car shows, all that type of fun stuff. But I guess we'll show you kind of the hay operation, the tractors and stuff we use. I'm partial to Allis-Chalmers orange. Obviously Ross is the Oliver Man, but kind of the same breed there. But no, we'll just kind of bounce between the barns here and there and go from there.
Alrighty.
So I guess starting off, we bought our Coyote, oh shoot, what is that, 4 or 5 years ago now that we've had it?
Oh, at least.
We just needed a nice little uniform tractor to get, especially with the old dairy barns. A lot of the entrances, well, you can see my Tahoe over there, and it's stock height. They hang really low, so it did have a canopy, like ROP system on it. We ended up taking it off, but it's a 45 horse front wheel assist. Nice
Super handy, that size.
Yeah,
I mean, front wheel assist like that, you can't go wrong. I mean,
hooked a little 5-foot bush hog behind it, and I mean, you can basically go through any of the ditches and stuff with that front wheel assist, mow and everything. But it is orange, so I guess I give you guys so like I said, we are mainly orange around here. You will see one green tractor in the barn here. That is actually my grandpa's John Deere. I think it's a 48 model B. He had a couple other ones. He had a 60 and a A. When Grandpa went to the nursing home, we ended up selling those two, and Dad wanted to hold on to this one just because it was Grandpa's. And
it was, yeah, it was actually, yeah, his grandpa's. Yep. Before that. Yep. So
my great-grandpa.
Great-grandpa, yeah.
Belly attachment cultivator on it, which we do have. It's up in my aunt's barn. We might get it running and make a few YouTube videos this summer, raking hay with it or something. But
I think it's and I can't say that for sure, but I think it's a 50 or 51. Yep. See, I have a 48, and 47 was the first year where they had the battery box under the seat, but this one's got a distributor, and I was thinking that for some reason it was a lot later.
One of the guys that came and bought the John Deere 60, he was really knowledgeable. He said there's a difference between the frames as well.
Oh, really? See, I didn't know that.
I didn't either. He said, I don't know, do you remember what he said about the frames?
I know that like the wartime ones were basically just like a channel iron rail, but I don't know.
And I think those were the earlier model ones, but I can't remember what year this even is.
No, I see some differences, like between mine and this one. Like mine, this doesn't come loose like that bolt, so that I bet this is a later one, but I don't know that for sure.
51.
That's what I was saying too. I was thinking it was in the 50s, but I wasn't sure.
Pretty sure
But-
that says the 51.
But yeah, it's interesting to see. And I mean, I don't know if those fenders are original on them or not, but I think there was something about, depending on which factory it was built at, some of them had those clamshell fenders and some had over the top fenders. I don't know.
And me and Grandpa, I kind of helped Grandpa restore this. Shoot, I was probably 10, 11. We kind of stripped everything down and went through it all. And that's kind of where I learned my mechanic skills today, just working on different odd and end stuff like this with Grandpa. And then put brand new tires and everything on it. And we took it to the county fair there a couple of times. We actually drove it all the way over there, which was probably a 45-minute drive at least.
Would you take like the base road back here? Yeah, I was gonna say that.
So
Yeah, there's not a direct way there, really. I mean,
and I will say there's a couple hills that this thing left me stranded on because it didn't have enough power to get up. So, but no, it's a fun old tractor. Like I said, it was Grandpa's. After he went to the nursing home there, we sold the other two and decided to keep this one. And I think we're gonna try and convert it over to the 12-volt system.
see, I had my generator redone for 12 volt, and then it makes, I like that better.
Which I think Uncle Richard said he could, what, 120 bucks, he said?
125 bucks, he said he could convert it over. We're hoping to put a bar rack behind it a couple of times this summer.
It's cool to get the old iron out there. And
Yeah, I mean, and like I said, I used mine for that too. I raked hay with it once, and about one field of hay, you've had enough of, of the vibration and the popping. I mean, it's cute, but that's, yeah.
But I guess switching over to the big horsepower, this is our workhorse here on the farm. This is the 7010. We bought it a few years ago. The guys we bought it off of, they bought it actually off of the original owner, and he used it, what was it, an auger tractor? And then
No, it was his primary. He farmed about 300, 400 acres, and he pulled disc and
I said, I think
with it.
about a 10-foot disc is what he had.
Because this is, like, I just did a video with that 7040 that I'm working on for a guy. Same body style and physical size of tractor, but this has the 301 engine. And this one actually is a power shift, is it not?
Power shift.
And, but yeah, I mean, original paint. Look at that.
Original
I
paint.
mean,
The only thing that I did different is I wanted a big stack on
Chrome
there.
stack.
We had a miter cut, and every time it rained, you had to throw a bucket on it and stuff.
I agree. It's better to, I mean, if you got a curved stack, you don't have to worry about it so much. So,
but this tractor does it all for us. AC works on it. It's got the power adjustable mirrors, which they do
oh, that's
work.
cool. Yeah.
They work. Factory stadium lights.
Because I think, and I'm not up on that either, Black Bellies, did all the Black Bellies have stadium lights?
I want to say
I think so too.
Nate was talking about that.
They have, I think the Black Bellies had stadium lights, which is that row of lights up there, and then I think originally that thing was chrome maybe at one time, or maybe they weren't, I don't know. But then also the flat front cab, I talked about that in a video. And I was thinking there was something else that the Black Bellies had in the cab that way. And I think cab kit, I talked about that too.
Yep, we put it, or Dad actually put the cab
because
kit
the
in.
maroon ones don't have that. They're just like bare metal on the pillar.
Yep, Dad did the cab kit. We had the seat reupholstered, the original door. So the farmer had, obviously there's a locking mechanism where you can have the door open, which we don't have it on this one. But he had the door open, and he had a set of duals on here.
And hooked the...
Shattered the bottom glass, so the guys that we bought it off of had a piece of plexiglass, which we just disposed of the original door. We took the upper glass out and saved it. But this tractor, like I said, does it all from our mowing, our round baling. We have our white disc back there. It's a
264.
Yep, 264. We bought that off of
the equipment jockey out there. Yeah.
Yep. We went out there and bought it, and we used it to till our hay fields under and odd and end stuff. And Dad's got a Woods belly mower,
like the side boom mower.
Yep, side boom mower here. He's been messing with. And
how do you like that? Does that work pretty good?
It's a little tricky. The key is it's got a pivot wheel back there, which it's off right now. Richard rebuilt it for me, put new bearings and a rim on it. But if you're thinking that you're going to pick it all up with your 3-point,
You're not going to, you have to have the helper.
you got to have that pivot on it. And actually what I have found, if you drop your 3-point and allow that to kind of balance out, you have a much better mow on it. But what I do like about it, with it being an all self-contained hydraulic system, and you don't have all those.
Oh, that's neat too. Yeah, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I can adjust that mower at angles down, or I've even gone along the woods and had it at a 90-degree angle and mowed.
Yeah, because it's hydraulic drive mower too. So
Well, I have to say,
that's
the first
pretty
time
cool.
Dad had it out.
That was an old highway garage mower that ended up going to a farmer, and then I bought it off of the farmer here at Closerman's auction a couple of years ago, and it's rough. It's been used, but
yeah, it's hard. Well, you're never gonna find a bush hog that is perfect. I mean,
that's the thing. Go buy one of those new too. You're gonna spend thousands. So
I got on like Tractor House and places like that the other year, and I saw them for $3,000 and $4,000, and I got about $1,200 on that.
So that's well worth that. Yeah,
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
I guess we can move. I was hoping they're gonna start this, but our batteries are dead. But no, the only other things we've really done, like I said, I added the stack. My cousin Nate, they own a tractor shop. He went through all the AC and stuff. We did a hydraulic pump on it 2 years ago, actually, the middle of winter. It broke down on one of our hay fields, so that was a fun little thing to fix.
I think you bought this when I still worked there, because I think I remember working on this some, maybe not.
Yeah, we've had this probably 6, 7 years
Yeah,
now,
see,
probably.
so I remember, because I was gonna say I remember when you got it, because I remember the mangled door on that side.
But like I said, Dad did the cab kit, new seat. We added a rear light bar on the back of it just to help, obviously, if we're cutting at night or whatever, you can kind of flip it on. Did the little side pod lights to kind of aim out a little bit, but other than that, it's all original. It's got 7,600 hours on it, somewhere in that area.
Yeah, the 301 motor's about indestructible.
Yep.
I mean, just very good.
I'll say, fun fact though, that same 301 is actually in our 185. It's up at the other shop.
Yeah.
Just a turboed version versus non-turbo. And I contemplated swapping the 185 over to a turbo. You can just get the
which you can do, and then if you turn it around, you can make it even come out the same hole of the hood, and it looks really slick.
Yep. So I think that's going to be hopefully a video at some point. I just know trying to get everything filmed, trying to set up.
Oh yeah,
and all that.
I know it makes it longer to do something, but no, that would be something that you wouldn't be sorry, because like I've drove that one of theirs over there, and that makes that thing a whole different. I mean, I like that tractor with the turbo. Well, I think it's really something.
What would help us and be beneficial is the fuel consumption on it. Cause
it would help. Yeah, it probably wouldn't hardly use any.
Yeah, versus not having a turbo. I mean, you got to crank your RPMs up and stuff. So, but I guess we can move over to this is a D19, a 64 model, right?
Yeah.
And this is the original one.
This is what your grandpa had, wasn't it?
Yep. So there was actually two of them.
Actually bought this one.
Yeah.
We had a different one. We used
Okay.
side by side. This one was our planting tractor, our hay buying tractor.
So this one is in a little bit more, I'll call it the patina stage.
Yeah. It could be brought around though. I bet if it
was.
It's been repainted though, hasn't it? At some point.
Because I think you even said you painted these decals.
Back when I was probably a teenager.
This is the tractor I learned to drive on. Same with my brother and everything. Again, this tractor's done it all. I've raked hay with it, used it on the tedder, square baled with it. We used to have fainting goats, and we had an old pull behind manure spreader. We used it. So I think this is probably one of my favorite tractors. I like the look of the D19. We do have a little bit taller rubber on the rear. These are 34s. I think most of them are 28s. I think is what they typically run. So
is that like the same center, like off of a 190 or something, or how did you, or was that an option and you found it or something?
Bought it, that was what was on it.
Really? I know that, and then just for everybody who maybe doesn't know, but the D19 was a 6-cylinder, and all the rest of the D-series ones were 4 cylinders. And that is like a Buddha engine. The gas and the diesel were both Buddha engines, the same thing like Cockshutt's used and different things. it can be hard to find parts for sometimes, I think, but I don't know. Have you ever had to really do anything to the motor on it? Or?
We overhauled it, I think twice. I know once when I was a teenager, and I think we overhauled it once since.
And it's very similar. I think they used it in like the A and different cleaner combines. I think it's basically the identical same motor. That's a Buddha motor, like a 260 something motor. That's what I was thinking. So it is the identical same one then, probably.
It's a reliable tractor right now. I put the battery back in it. We stole the battery off of it, put it on our
winch, which I do have a video coming out. We bought a new tractor, which will go up there and I'll show you. So I got a video coming out on it. That actually comes from in town, one of Dad's clients. We were actually just looking at buying another square bale tractor, and this one kind of fell right into our laps.
The reason for it is we have a Claus rotary rig, and we normally rig with the 185. Third gear, high range, ground speed was too slow. You're not supposed to use many RPMs on it, so you were crawling. You jump to fourth low, and that's about a 4.5 to 5 mile per hour speed jump, and then we were leaving hay on the ground. This one, when you go from third high up to fourth, especially with the different tires, was only about a 2.5 to 3 mile per hour jump. So we can run fourth high or fourth low with this one and pick up all the hay. But I don't want the 185 tied up in front of the square bale. A little D17, and we come across one. And
all right.
So,
which is cool because, well, I guess in our minds when we were going to look at it, we thought it was going to be the wide front.
Oh, and it's a narrow front? Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Being a narrow front, which the guy does have.
You'll be able to turn on a dime, though, with it.
The bad thing about the narrow front, I guess, if you want to do anything else with it, rake, whatever, it's going to be very bumpy ride going through the field. But it's going to be probably hooked to the square baler, so it's not going to be a...
You're not going to be going fast when you use it, so...
I want to use it as a spray tractor, too.
So...
This one I used to spray with, but the seat sits up a little higher, a little far forward.
Out of all the ones I've drove of that series, I think I like the D17 the best. I don't know why that is, but another thing I notice working on them all the time is that even though they look alike, there's really not a lot that's common on them. They're like all kind of unique to themselves with the way they're laid out and everything. This one's even more different than the others because it's got different hydraulic valves and everything, but it's just interesting to see. I mean, I don't know which one came first, probably the D17s because they were the replacement for like the WD, so yeah. I don't know, but just interesting to see how they arrived at all that, you know. And
I was hoping to do it while Dad's still alive. I want to refurbish it.
Yeah,
that's on the
agenda to do. Yeah, it's I mean, there was a lot of these around, these D-series tractors. I worked on one for a guy one time where he said the hydraulics quit and it wouldn't work, and he had been, instead of fixing it, he had been using a jack, and he'd jack up all 4 corners of the disc and then put the pin in, and then he'd go to the field and jack them all down. And then he couldn't figure out what was wrong. Well, what was wrong was he kept adding oil to the transmission instead of the hydraulic compartment, and the transmission was like way over full, and the other part was no oil in it at all, and it had wore out all the, I mean, it was something else. I mean, it actually, I think I got the hydraulic pump working, but it ruined that little brass collar that shifts the hand clutch. Yep. And I don't remember what I did. I think I did it through that hole in the side and managed to get it put in there. But yeah, all because he kept adding oil to the, I mean, I think finally you'd be level full and you'd wonder what was going on, but I don't know. It's just interesting stuff you find, I guess.
Yeah, this one sits a little bit bigger than a D17. I like this D17 for being a little more compact, so.
Because, I mean, that's what we contemplated going and trying to find like a 170, which replaced the D17, but this one, like I said, kind of fell into our laps, and it's one of those, you'll see it, the sheet metal is straight as can be. There's one dent in one of the fenders, but they're not all rusted out.
And that's unusual on any Allis-Chalmers really like these, or the WDs even. Yep. If they're not destroyed, you got something. Cause
and it's got the nice factory wheel weights, which are anywhere from, I've seen them go for a few $100 up to $1,500, so that's kind of cool. But like I said, it kind of just fell into our laps there and worked out. It's going to be hooked to the square baler, and I'm hoping in my video when it comes out, we'll get it running, because obviously I got it loaded up and everything in the beginning of the video, but instead of making a two-part, I'm just going to make it one long. Hopefully we'll get it running, driving, all that fun stuff. I know we're probably going to do just your generic tune-up kit on it, change oil. It had a newer battery in it, spark plugs, they look new. I popped the fuel cap off. Inside the tank didn't have any rust, which was shocking to me. So it's going to be a pretty solid tractor. So.
Alrighty, well.
I guess our other, again, the GM Man. That truck there was a fun little haul. I guess I can give you a rundown on it. This is, we were looking for something we could use to move gravel, and this was our answer. It's an old grain truck. It's a 1980 Chevy C60. It's got the 366 big block in it. We bought it down from a guy in Salem. What did we get for it? 2,500 bucks, I think.
That's a nice thing about these big trucks. You can get them for just next to nothing.
And I mean, it's in really good shape. You're starting to get a little rust here.
So is that original paint on it then too? You think?
I think so. I think it was blue at one point.
Oh, okay, I see it now. Yeah.
But everything else, I mean, is fairly straight. There's a dent in the top of the cab. But fun story. So when Dad and I went down to get it, it was like 6, 7 o'clock when we were leaving in Salem, Indiana, which is about an hour drive from here. In this thing, we're like, all right, let's load up, get on the road. Well, we went through Salem Square, heading home. Didn't realize the lights didn't work on the truck. Come to find out, we had a 2-barrel intake with a 1-barrel ported carb on it, so it was very restrictive. We were going through hills and stuff with no lights, virtually no power. I'm trying to stay as close to Dad as I can because I'm using his headlights to see. Luckily, there was a guy that pulled up behind us and turned on his flashers. We made it about halfway home. We veered off into one of the churches just down the road and parked it and came back the next morning and got it. So that was a fun little drive home.
It's an adventure, yeah.
Exactly. But no, we took it over to one of my buddies, Chad Lynch. He kind of went through everything. We did the correct intake, the correct carb, fresh oil. He kind of fixed all the wiring for us, all that type of stuff.
I mean, you wonder why would that guy do that? Wonder what he had to get. Did he take that stuff for something else he had?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean...
But no, it does have the hoist bed on it, which was our main reason for buying. We do have a brake leak we have to get fixed because
they all have brake trouble. Any of these trucks, I mean, it just.
You can see the oil run down.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna. We went to go get a load of gravel one day, and I was gonna meet Dad there at the rock quarry, and well, it just happened to be right when school was letting out, and I was following a school bus, and that's when the brakes decided to act up. So I kind of had an oh crap moment, started pumping the brakes as fast as I could. I downshifted the truck real hard. We managed to get stopped, but
oh boy,
I was white knuckle on that steering wheel, and I thought I was going to be in the heap of trouble with the school corporation. But
we need to get out here and get it cleaned up. It has not moved in probably 5 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the other thing. They sit most of the year, you know.
Well, that's just why I don't want to throw a lot of money at something when it's just going to sit. So, but it does come in handy.
Oh yeah, I mean,
sawed off my front yard here when I took those maple trees down. I had all those root remnants. I just load it in here and I take it out to a washout, and I like it for that reason.
Yeah, it saves a lot of shoveling that way.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So this part of the barn was added on back when Dad was little. You can see the old brick wall to the original dairy barn there. We kind of put the gravel and everything in here a few years ago, just kind of make it nice for our kind of cold storage shed. Got Dad's backhoe in here, our bar rake, the hay mower, our little bush hog. Just basically. Is
that a 5209 or what is that?
What?
That hay bine?
It's a 1320.
So it's like the newer version of it, huh?
Yep. I think it's got a little over 9.5 cutting width. We actually bought this off of Doc's
The neighbor across the road.
The neighbor.
Okay.
He bought it brand new, actually.
Yeah, and he didn't hardly use it at all.
He's still
Look
got
at
the
it.
original sticker on there. I know we put a fair share of hours and stuff on it, but our John Deere, we have a 336 square baler. I actually bought that along with the round baler. Right when I got out of high school, I went and got a, I guess if you want to call it like a young farmer's loan. So I bought it, the Little Coyote loader tractor, and then the round baler. But we went to this because we did have two John Deere 24Ts.
Yeah, that's what I got, one of those. They're basically underneath, they're about the same.
Yep.
But I think this one's got a little more width than the pickup. I don't know.
Yeah, and our 24Ts, knock on wood, were great balers, but we basically bought one and bought the other for parts, and then our good one ended up jumping time and completely
It
just
broke the needles or something, I think. I remember when that happened.
It destroyed a lot of stuff, so then that's when we decided let's go to this 336, and I mean, this one's been a fantastic baler. We get it out, and I think the only issues we've had is if you get your twine knots too big,
They don't want to pull out.
yeah, that's when you only miss a bale. We contemplated going to like a 338 because it's a little bit bigger yet, but I mean, for what we do, this thing...
I need to modify my tongue like this later baler. They got wise and they made that rigid and then put a smaller telescoping shaft here, whereas the other one, the whole thing pivots the whole time, and that is just not my favorite. I broke that little cast thing that it sits in and all kinds of stuff, but yeah, that's
my only complaint with this baler, and it's not even the baler's fault, this little shield here has got some play in it. So when you pivot it up and hook it onto the back of the PTO and you're baling, you hear ting, ting, ting.
It makes noise. Mine does, like if you turn a certain way, it'll make a lot of racket and stuff. This is kind of neat because I noticed it last time. Was it your brother that fixed this up?
My cousin, actually. Yep.
But a Campbell sprayer, which is nothing exciting. They were sold at the Big Blue store, but there was a million of these around. And we had one, and I ended up selling it to some guy in Kentucky. I probably should have kept it, but it's just kind of neat to see. I mean, one all fixed up because, like I said, there was tons of these around.
Again, we bought this at the same auction you bought your truck, but probably 7-8 years ago. We used it, and then we decided let's just start kind of putting paint on everything. So yeah, we took the straps loose, and my cousin redid everything. All new hoses, all new T-fittings, screens, chains and springs. Dad ended up putting a new valve on here, and then the pump down there is actually just a quick connect shaft that you can slip on, and then we just chain it up to the 3-point. And like Dad said, having the D17, we use my uncle's D17, and then I mean basically where you're sitting on the tractor, you can reach back and flip your valve, which is the D19 you sit up a little bit higher, but
you got to reach down.
Yeah, my cousin did all new racing bearings, painted the wheels, new tires, so it should be a pretty good little sprayer outfit for us. So
yeah, like I said, there was a million of those around. I think everybody had one back in the day.
And then I don't know if we can make our way.
Yeah, we can, whatever.
We end up buying a little John Deere, we call it our hay seeder, but it was one of those, I think I bought that at an auction down in Scottsburg. $250 bought it.
Yeah, I think that's good.
So we just throw our hay seat in there. We took the little...
And it's hydraulic lift, which is nice.
Yep, we took the little drop tubes out that your seeds would kind of fall through. We can climb over.
So you just let them like broadcast out of it.
Yep, we just do basically a broadcast system, and then we have like a drag system that I welded a little hitch on the back to, so seed just falls straight out, and I mean it works for what it is. Like I said, $250. I won't complain because you can spend a lot more money on other things.
Yeah, and you got somewhat control of how much it puts out with something like this. So, but yeah, that's one of those things that when you're sick of it, you can probably sell it to somebody else and get your money back.
Yep.
So.
And then we went and bought the Vortex hay tedder. We had a little Vermeer, and that's the thing, guys, like especially doing hay, like with the tedder, the Vermeer, the main beam was about the size
Yeah,
of the car.
they've really beefed them up a lot.
It was terrible. Our pivot points here, when the wings come down, it basically, when you're going through the field, the wings would almost wrap around or push behind you, and it terrible. I welded on that a couple times. We got, just to the point where we were tired of fixing it. We ended up selling it and getting our money back, which I was.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Yep. And then we ended up going to Ohio, about 4.5 hours out of the way, picking this sucker up. It's a 2018 model, 2017 model. The guy that had it had like 40 acres of hay. He ended up going to a little bit larger one because he's like, my time is valuable. He went to the 6 basket. He's like, I'm not spending all day out there. Which the cool thing about this one is most of your 4 baskets, I think, are 17 or 17 and a half working with. This one's actually 19 and a half, so we can get 3 full windrows
at a time.
Yeah, and it just makes life so much.
So that one, I guess, I don't know if I should tell that story or not on camera, but his sister actually got run over by a tedder, but that was actually Richards, wasn't it? Because I have the piece that ran her over that they took off, and I don't remember if it was from something else was cracked or whatever, but I made it into a giraffe.
Again,
so.
little bumps and bruises.
It was amazing that, when you see like it went right over top of her, and it's amazing that there was not bad things.
Yeah, it could have been bad. Luckily, I think what saved her is she had a ball cap on and her hair was in a ponytail. And it I couldn't imagine if her hair got stuck in.
Yeah, and it wound up in there or something. Ooh. Yeah, that was pretty lucky, but that's again one of those things that just happens. Like you don't know how, it just happens. So
that's the thing, you got farm safety and the smarts. Even now, like you said, something like that.
Yeah, simple. You do it a million times and don't think there's any problem, and then it's one time, oops. But
we upgraded to a nicer rake. We kind of had the same one. It was an older model, which on the older one, underneath of basically your, I don't know what you want to call it, your rotary basket, it had little balls almost that spun around. Well, we kept blowing them out, and come to find out that rake was good for about 50 acres and not 100 acres.
Yeah.
So we ended up selling it and upgrading to this. I like this one. It does have the hydraulic up and down. So a lot of our fields, we kind of taken old washout areas, and they're triangles, they're not perfect squares. So it's nice. You can basically make one pass down the field, lift it, turn around and hit it, and then finish your end rows there at the end of it. So, but nothing on the farm is super fancy. We're kind of the budget farmer doing it for hobby farming.
Yeah, it's fun.
But, yeah, we can. I'll go show you the new tractor up there.
Okay.
So.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this is all fixed up pretty nice. This is.
Yep. So this is the shop we built. Well, it started out as this is a cold storage shed. Grandpa and his dad built it back in the day. Yeah, they actually took measurements off of my aunt's building, which has been there forever. They come down and laid all the posts out, built the trusses and everything, and put it up. And then we kind of got tired of working out in the gravel or wherever, so we wanted someplace nicer, especially during winter. We could kind of service all the equipment. And no, it's not the biggest shop. You look at some of the guys' shops today, and they're 100 by 60 or 120. They're just massive. But this does do its job. We poured concrete, insulated all the walls probably 3 years ago. We got a little office and stuff on it. And then over here on this side, we're actually doing a detailing / wash bay side. We got a drain there in the floor, did spray foam, got to do the ceiling and everything, but that's going to be a project of its own yet. We still got to do.
Yeah, but that'll be nice in the winter because that won't stop you if it's freezing outside.
Exactly, but
And I realize that's a door now. When I came in here, I thought, how did you get this in here? But that's a
big sliding door.
That's a big door. So there we go.
But no, this is our Allis-Chalmers 185. I think Dad's very partial to this tractor. He loves it. It's kind of that, it's not too big, but not too small type tractor.
And it's the 301 engine again, the same like in the 190s and 200s. So it's basically the same horsepower tractor if you turned it up and less weight. And I know they sold a ton of these. Guys liked them for one thing, and that was because you can power takeoff. I think, where is it, on the other side, or which one is it? To turn the power takeoff on and off, isn't it one of these?
It's the one right there.
This one here? Yep. Okay, so yeah, so guys bought them for auger tractors because you could, from the ground, sit here and do whatever, you know. So that, I think they probably sold more of these for that than, you know, 190s and whatever, so.
And I do like this tractor. I mean, it's, like I said, it's one of those you can hop on and go. My only complaint about it is the seat. I definitely like sitting up a little bit higher, like the 190. You have that really nice flat platform, which we did come back and we put some
spacer blocks and stuff.
Square tubing spacer blocks underneath to kind of get you up there, which we.
Because that's not the original type seat, is it?
No,
didn't it?
No.
It had one of those big sliding things with that lever thing on it, didn't it? At one time.
But we, like I said, we need a new seat and stuff, and we put the spacer blocks to get you up a little bit higher. But I do like the flat top fenders and stuff.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's a very beefy looking tractor. Again, this one was our round baling tractor until we got the 7010. Again, that's the round baler I bought straight out of high school, the Hessen 845. We wanted something that could do the twine tie and net wrap. It's a 2001 model, and I think we don't even have like, I think last fall was like 9,000 and some change total bales ran through.
Oh, wow. That's a lot.
I mean, it hasn't had very many. My uncle and cousin, they just went through and replaced a lot of the chains. Obviously, the other side.
The other side's got a lot of stuff on it. If nobody's ever seen these, I mean,
new gauges and everything.
So it uses hydraulic tension for everything, and then this one is like, I think the bigger one, isn't it? Or is it not? Where is it all self-contained or not? It doesn't have a self-contained hydraulic system, does it?
No. This is your 4x5. Some guys say you can adjust it down. They run 4x4 and stuff, but we just left it at the 4x5. It does great. Like I said, we went through. We can go around the other side. They went through all the chains. They repacked wheel bearings. Basically the whole 9 yards, and just getting it ready for us. So
did they sell this one new or not? I don't remember.
No, this one actually comes from, I think it was Greensburg, up in that area.
Okay.
The guys that we bought it off of, they buy and sell used equipment. They have a dealer up there, or a dealership, and this was their backup baler. We had a little issue with this when we first got it. So this is the clutch system for the baler, and basically what it does is when you're on the tractor and you go to do your net wrap and dump and all that, there's little dolly wheels that space the clutch apart to stop it from spinning so you can dump. Well, what we found out is once you kind of get this slop in there, everything, it didn't want to track correct, and we almost actually caught the baler on fire from it. So now with the 7010, we can disengage the PTO and then dump and then re-engage PTO.
So you just locked it in, like, and don't do that.
Yeah, we don't even.
Because it looks like it just like wedged this wheel into the thing and split this apart. But
like I said, all new chains on it.
Oh, we worked on a ton of these, and I was in there because not this size specifically, but like the whatever they got, 565s and 565As. They're all basically the same, but man, we worked on a ton of them. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that moves on one of these. I mean,
we did new belts on it 2 years ago. That was a fun process. If you've never done belts on a round baler, you don't realize how many rollers and
your little spacers are important here, and if they're wore, and I mean all these guides and stuff. I know we welded on some to make them better than they were.
And me and my uncle, when we were down here, we adjusted everything because you basically want your belts to be flat. Well, you can see a couple of them are turned, so we adjusted everything, and we just need to get it out and run it. Which when we were running it in here, they kind of self-leveled out. So we're hoping once it kind of gets under a load and everything, you'll kind of...
Once they kind of like wear in a little bit, they'll probably even out. But
no, it's 4x5. We do strictly net wrap. We don't do any of the twine. I don't think this baler's ever ran twine through. Because I mean, you look at your...
Oh yeah, no wear on the things at all.
It's perfect, no wear marks. So, but
yeah, if it was mine, it'd run twine through it. Because I hate net wrap, man. If you sell them like you do, net wrap's the way to go.
Yep.
But like for me to bale and feed my own stuff, that net wrap just every time it seems like you get tangled up in it. But
no, I mean we enjoy it. It's definitely been a lifesaver, especially when we're trying to square bale, but then God's like, hey, we're just gonna send a
time to rain. Yeah.
Yep.
You can get done a lot quicker with something like this, or at least roll it up a lot faster than you can square bale it. So yeah.
But no, again, the 185. This is all original. I think it's just rolled over 3,000 hours, actually.
So that's fairly low houred, really.
Just rolled over 3,000 hours.
This was I asked them about this once, but originally that would be orange. But that was a thing, like, I think a lot of people did that in like the 70s and stuff when they were new. Paint the nose a different color or something, you know, just...
And it's funny because this actually isn't the original.
Oh, the mesh is different, yeah.
Yep. So what happened is, the side latch, you can see this side latch here's got a little locking mechanism on it. That was the bad thing about these grills. They just, I mean, half the tractors don't have them on. What I did on Dad's, I put 3 self-tappers down the top to hold it on, because those things will pop loose. I mean, it's just the way it is. But that's what happened. Is God was coming up the hill over here and it popped out, off, and he ended up running over it, which he didn't damage the. I mean,
he did. Yeah, it didn't hurt it too bad, because a lot of these are mangled. That's what, and then they're even worse. Then you can't keep them on once they get a little bit mangled.
You go to Facebook Marketplace and they're like, oh, 185, and it doesn't have the grill.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's got the big weight up front. Again, this tractor's done it all. We got a 12-foot bush hog mower, great tractor to use it on. If you guys go back in the video, you could see the D19 tire was stuck out, which this one's sucked up in. We have it
narrowed up.
Yep, narrowed up, so it doesn't have any of the...
and these, I think from when we worked on them, this is pretty well designed in a way where I don't think they get stuck like some of the tractors. The axles, I mean, if you take those bolts out, I think you'll get it to slide. Some of them, it's like they've become one and you can't hardly get them loose.
Yeah, and then you're kind of trying to find a whole new replacement.
Oh my.
But no, like I said, my plan is to eventually swap it over to a turbo.
Yeah, you get a manifold off a 190 or whatever, and then you turn the turbo around the other way and it'll come right up through the... You got an oval hole in your hood, but it still looks good. I mean, so...
And that's the biggest thing that drives me nuts with these tractors.
The oval muffler.
Yeah, I don't know what...
I don't know either. I mean, if they were supposed to be quieter, that was what... Like on Oliver's, the 1750, 1755s, they came out with an oval muffler because guys who complained it was too loud. But it's funny because that's the only ones then that had that on there, and that's kind of funny looking. But I put one back on mine. I mean, that's what it had. But I guess, you know, the other ones that had turbos had their own muffler for that. So it was...
Which, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, though, but like Allis-Chalmers, Oliver, White... all those are within the same family.
Well, now, because AGCO ended up buying all the companies. White Motor Company that made trucks bought Cockshut, and then they bought Oliver, and then they bought Minneapolis Moline, and then when nobody could get along, then that's when they decided to paint the tractor silver, and they made that. And then you go into like the 80s, White owned New Idea and different things, and then everybody kind of fell apart at the same time, and then AGCO formed, and then they bought White and all the different things, or the pieces that hadn't been sold off. Like, for example, the combine line, the White combines, was sold to Massey Ferguson before, and now it's all back together again because they own Massey Ferguson too.
You think about it, there's a bunch of those brands, because you had Massey, you had like Massey Harrison back in the day.
Yeah, Ferguson,
you had White, Oliver. I mean, there was a
Cockshut, Minneapolis Moline, all that stuff. AGCO actually stands for the Alice Gleaner Corporation, but then it's funny that the company, they didn't take any of the brands that they started with. I mean, now Massey Ferguson is the preferred brand because they said that's the global recognized brand, which I don't think around here that it was. I don't think in the United States that Massey Ferguson was anything. I mean, it was a small company here, I think, compared to, so it's just funny how things work out. But yeah, now all the things that used to be competitors are all kind of together. So
Deutz Allis and Deutz Fara, and I mean, yeah, they all.
Yeah, they're all under the same company. So.
Well, I mean, a lot of people don't realize either, though, is Allis-Chalmers. I mean, they made everything.
Yeah. Oh, they had stuff that wasn't ag-related, like electrical transformers and just things that were, and they still exist today as Allis-Chalmers. I think the electrical division still exists. So
yeah, I mean, you had everything from Allis-Chalmers refrigerators, hand tools.
They made chainsaws. I've seen. I mean, just
snowmobiles. The little.
I've got a snow blower.
I mean, everything. And I don't think that's what, I mean, a lot of people realize. Everything you could think of for like a household or a farm application they made. So,
yeah.
I guess we'll go out and show you the new purchase, which is, this is the tractor I'll be making a video on.
Okay. And there's some of the trucks from his channel there.
Yep, that's my truck I bought back in high school. Completely redid it, everything, new bed, fenders, doors, hood.
It's gone through several variations of styling and stuff.
Yep, I think I added all my receipts up with what I bought the truck for, the different wheels, exhaust pump, rebuilt motor, the rebuilt trans, the rebuilt rear axle, and all the body work and paint. I think I have just over $32,000 in it. I won't ever get the money back, but I guess it's
if you like it. So. Yeah, exactly. And then this one was actually owned by the dealer where I worked. He had this truck for a while. I think it was their welding truck.
Yep, which
way back in the day.
Which it still kind of is, because you still have where they put the tanks down in here.
Oh yeah.
I kept that.
Oh, they even made it with the door like that, or did you do?
No, the door was like that. I made my fuel door to match.
Oh, that's neat. So there you go. So
you open it, and then it's right there. But no, this did have the bar that come off and the chain to wrap your
tanks in there.
And then I added a different style seat. It did have like the original bench seat. So I did like a fold down center console and everything. But no, we rebuilt the motor. It's out of an 87 square body. It's the 350. But we converted it back over, instead of the TBI, the first year for the TBI, we converted it back over to a carb setup. And
yeah, this old truck was pretty rough back in the day. I mean,
nothing fancy, like I said, just a 350. Converted it back over, did headers, different stuff.
But reliable. That's
exactly. It's got the SM 465. Granny low 3-speed, if that's what you want to call it. Some people
runs on freedom.
Yeah, some people call it the 4-speed. But yeah,
there we go.
Needs a little body work. We got the good old license plate floor pan down there.
Hey, that works.
We need to weld those in, but when I got it, basically what happened is I traded my uncle. He needed a sending unit put in his truck, so I dropped the fuel tank, put the sending unit in, and then I got this. We did a 4-inch lift, the big wheels and tires, rebuilt the motor, went through the front axle, all new lockouts, all that type of stuff. And then in one of my YouTube videos, I decided I was going to try and pull a tree down with it. And
I remember that, yeah.
Yep. The back end of the truck come up probably 12 inches off the ground, slammed down real hard, and actually where your rear housing is on your axle, the axle tubing, it split the actual main housing. So that was pretty impressive. My axle guy was like, I don't think I've ever seen one break there. And I said, leave it to me. But no, we completely rebuilt that rear axle. It's got Yukon gearing and stuff in it. It's a fun little farm truck. We slide the transfer tank on there, run to town, fill it up and stuff. So like I said, it needs some front cab support, some body bushings, which I'm hoping to do.
Yeah.
Yes, the cab's almost touching the back of the, that's no big deal. But
I got one where you can't even close the driver's door because there's nothing holding it but imagination. So
I took the front bumper off a long time ago and it just never went back on. But this tractor here is the one we just picked up. It's
that's cool.
D17. Like I said, this thing is perfectly straight. You look at the hood, no mangles. Like I said, there's one little dent here, and the actual other side of the fender.
That is pretty straight. I mean, look at that. It's, yeah, I'm impressed with that. Because usually, I mean, all of this is just crushed in. Lights are gone, you know, broke, whatever. And this would be would this be a Series 1?
Series 1, yep.
And then it had like the plate, it had actually plates riveted on.
Plate, yep, which those, we're gonna buy those back. I think the plan is we're just gonna give it a good cleaning. Now I'm gonna come back with my buffer and do a nice,
try to make it a little bit
single stage, yep, one stage buff job. But yeah, we're gonna hopefully get this thing running, hopefully today. Like I said, I checked fuel, we're good there. Dad cleaned the sediment bowl. When we got the tractor, it was in a barn out on the far side of town there, right in front of Home Depot, that barn.
Okay.
There were some homeless people that were in the barn. They broke the key off the ignition, so we got a new ignition. We're gonna try and get wired up.
Did they help you push it on the trailer?
No, I wish they would have, because it'd been nice. But when we ran the serial number and everything, it came out as a late 61 model. So I guess it'd be like a 61 and a half model year. But we do in the barn up there have the original
the headlight
lights we can put on.
When you see it like this, you can tell that it's a WD. I mean, it's just the same.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it is basically. It's an updated WD in a lot of ways.
And like I said, it is the tricycle front end. We do have, or he has, we got to pick up yet. He's got a wide front that can go on it. I don't know if we're going to swap over to it or not.
I kind of like this. I don't know.
I like it like this too, but like Dad said, if he's going to be spraying with it and stuff.
That's where it's going to be rough. Yeah. The baling won't be too bad, but maybe you just have to buy another one for spraying, you know?
I really want to find a 190, like a 190 XT. Or
did you never have one of those? Your grandpa had a 200, didn't he?
Grandpa had a 200.
And it left with the everything, didn't it?
Grandpa had which I would love to find, a D17 diesel. Grandpa had one, tricycle front end.
I remember that because,
it left too, but I would love to find one back. I'd actually found a D19 diesel. It was about a 6-hour drive. About $4 I could have brought it home. I was going to try and talk the guy down a little bit. I may have went and got it, but
I think that's a decent price for that. I mean, you know.
I think the only bad thing, he said the starter gears and stuff are stripped on it, so
the ring gear, so you'd have to split it and do that. Even this though, I mean, this is almost perfect. There's a few little things, but not nearly as bad as you usually see them. I mean,
like I said, I pulled the dipstick on it and it looks like it's got fresh oil in it. We charged the battery up.
Did they say how long ago they think it's run, or just
3 years? I think you said. So, but I mean, spark plugs look fairly new on there. We're gonna do new points and everything. Basically, like I said, just your typical tune-up on it. But I mean, oil's fairly,
that looks nice.
Fairly clean on it. So, but I think what I'm gonna do before we start it, since it hasn't ran, I think I might try and dump a little oil.
Yeah, that would be good. Turn it over by hand or something a little bit,
just to kind of get it to lube itself up a little bit. But
that's the bad thing about these. Anytime you got to work on gauges or switch, there's just no really good way to get up in there, you know.
And that's actually what I'm doing. We were trying to put it on there, but you don't have enough room to pull it over here and crimp it.
Yeah, put it back.
Yep. So I'm gonna probably do 6 to 8 inches of extra wire and then kind of bunch it up and zip tie it. And then, but no, like I said, I'm hoping to have a few videos out on this. I think the plan is we're gonna get the emblems, but this up here is just dirt.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think you can bring a lot of that out of it, because I've seen some stuff that look just brown, and it comes back to the color if you use the right stuff. So,
but when we went to look at it, like I said, we were kind of expecting a wide front, and we walk in and it was a tricycle. So, and that's the thing, I don't think you really see these around anymore, and if you do, they're restored. And
I'm gonna say, a lot of people switched them over, you know, and whatever, but it's kind of neat, and it'll turn really super good.
Yep.
This has got snap coupler, of course, but
yeah, I think the plan is I'm gonna try and build a 3-point system for it.
You can get, I mean, something like that just,
yeah, a lot of guys just get pins that they stick in here with chains,
clamp the arms in and go. Yeah, because that wouldn't be nothing.
The only downfall is it's only got the one hydraulic outlet, so I think we're going to try and update that.
Yeah, there was a way. Let me think about that. What did Richard do on that one? He used like the belt pulley hole.
Yeah.
And because the Series 4 did that anyway, and it ran another hydraulic pump off of the belt pulley so that you could have valves with things. So you could do that pretty easy because you don't have a belt pulley.
And maybe it's one of those things that we might work something out and I'll bring it over and we can make some.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, make some videos. Yeah.
But we could that night. I don't know if there was a loader on here at one point, like with like a trip bucket or manure bucket or something back in the day.
Probably was. Everybody had something
because,
like that.
Yeah, we were looking at the holes and stuff, and theirs were threaded in, and theoretically, I mean, I guess you would have your.
I don't know if did the factory weight bracket go all the way back there, because I was thinking that it bolted along the side and stuck out, and then it had those flat weights like what the WD had on them, but I don't know that for certain. But I bet it did have a loader on it.
Like I said, we do have the big wheel weights on the back, which we believe this tractor, when we went and bought this, he had a new idea corn picker.
Oh yeah, so it could have went in there too.
So,
and that would explain all that too.
So I don't know if that's what this was used for back in the day or what, but yeah, I think we're just going to get it cleaned up for now, get it running and operating, and it's going to go in front of the square baler.
That'll be fun. Yeah.
Which is sad though, because it's a beautiful orange tractor in front of
a green baler.
Green baler.
Oh my! Well, it'll
hopefully
be fun.
It doesn't burn to the ground.
No, I mean it really. Yeah, I mean, what can you say about it? It's about as good as they get. I mean, it's not bright and shiny, but it's not beat up at all. I mean.
And I mean, that's the thing that shocked that. Now the front tire's got some.
It's had a new water pump at some point in the last 10 years.
Yep, exactly. I mean, the front tires are a little dry rotted from sitting, but the rears are good. So I think the plan is if we do swap it over to the wide front, we're just going to do new tires and stuff on it.
That one's not too bad, but it's got a few little hiccups in it. But
we did find out the brakes work very well on it.
That's good too, because that on these, there's a kind of deal where you got to pull the whole thing away to work on the brakes in there, which is not the most fun, but yeah, so if they work, you got something.
Exactly. Well, we were rolling off the trailer and Dad's like, I don't know if the brakes work or not, and I was like, well, once you start rolling, hit them. He hit them, and they work pretty well, which I mean, this is our technically Dad and I's second D17 together. We had another one. We bought it off of guys down south in Austin. We got it running and stuff and used it a summer, but the bad thing with it kept fouling the spark plugs and then our points. We could never get it 100% adjusted right, so it kind of sat over there where my 79 is, and then we posted it for sale. We
was it what series was it? Was it
a 4?
A 4?
It was a 4. When we sold it, kind of wish we never did, and we started looking for tractors again. Like I said, this one fell into our lap. So. But that's about the gist of the farm. I mean, we do about a little over, I think, 75 acres of the hay farm, or the grain operation. One of the local farmers, he comes down and does all of it. I think we're right over 100 acres of the grain side. But
a lot of these farms around here, when they laid them out, were right around 100 or 120 acre blocks that they had. So, and then that was the way. Actually, like I said before, this place was my grandma and grandpa's farm.
So you're great grandma.
Yeah, and when they got married, they were going to buy this because that's when it came for sale, and that's when your grandpa bought it.
Yep.
And I don't know what made them pick the one they picked over this. They just, whatever. The other guy, well, her other uncle ended up buying this. When they wanted both places, he wanted both places, and then finally he ended up with this. And then I guess another thing that had to do with it too was the grandpa was still alive, and he ended up living with them for a while when they lived here first, so that was probably a big part of it too. I mean, he needed a place to go.
Grew up is right up
yeah,
the next white farm.
The other farm up there was that, so and that's where
we just hit 150 years in the family, so.
And his aunt lives there,
yep,
so.
that's where my aunt lives, so.
But yeah, we took down chicken houses and stuff over there. I don't know, we took down buildings and got some of that lumber Grandpa and me, and then, but yeah, that, and then basically we're all related, you know, somewhere down the line, so.
But that's the thing, I mean, a lot of the barns here, like this one that you see the side of, it was actually an old corn crib, and then they built the sides up on it, and then
just add a lean-to and make it into something, yeah.
And it's the back side of this one, they added on to the original dairy barn, like I said. And then,
yeah, because he had, what? How many cows did he have at one time? He had a dairy farm, I mean.
Yeah, they, I don't even know what they got up to there.
At the high point.
Yeah, and then I know they got out 94 or 95 was the last year for the milking operation, and then they farmed for a couple more years.
He farmed until probably, what year was that? Because we bought that Gleaner combine that I burned up was from his grandpa, and it was in that building right there. We got it, but that was probably in the, that was in the 2000s, I think, wasn't it? Maybe when that happened, when we bought that, when he sold all that stuff, because he sold the combine. And when we looked at it, he still had all the equipment there, because I remember the 200 was sitting there next to it. But then after we bought that combine, he just like got a hold of the equipment jockey and sold it all, and it just all disappeared at once. So.
Because I remember, because I used to get off the school bus here at Grandma and Grandpa's, and I remember the day I got off the school bus, they were here with their semi truck,
loading up everything
up. I stood there and watched it all leave. Brought a tear to my eye, to say the least.
Yeah, I mean it. What do, you know?
Exactly. I mean, I was probably
you were. I was gonna say you were little then. I mean, so.
But no, like I said, we do a lot of hay operation. I'm gonna try and on my channel, like I said, I'm trying to broaden out a little bit, especially with like the farm side of it. I've made a few videos here and there. I'm gonna try and do more with like the hay cutting, brown baling, square baling, and all that.
Those do really well usually. I find that the hay videos do good. People relate to that, I guess.
And that's like the trucks and stuff. I try to do your how-tos and just kind of your fun videos. I'm not really just set on one video way. I mean, like I said, I go to the car shows. I've done like, well, I did do a tractor ride video right when I first started with YouTube and stuff, but that was with like the very first GoPro, and the footage just was not fantastic, but you got to start somewhere. Right?
There's no magic formula to this at all. I mean, it, like you and I were talking a while ago, you make one video and you put a lot of work into it and you think it's going to be spectacular, and nobody watches it. And then you do one that you think this is dumb, and you just grab the camera thinking, whatever, I'll take it with me, and then that one gets 20,000 views for no reason. So it's
science behind it.
Yeah, so I mean, any kind of variety is good. I mean, I don't know, but I've been doing one every day, and that's about impossible to come up with something to do if you don't just, some of them are going to be less good than others. I don't know what to say. I mean, yeah.
I think that's where I find trouble, because I work full-time there in town at a semi-truck place, and then I do my own auto body and detailing on the side, and then also the farm. So I might do a detailing video one day, and I've shot a couple of videos there in town. We actually had a 1987 International cab over. We kind of restored stuff. I made videos on it, and those tend to do pretty well. But like you said, there's no rhyme or reason which video does better than others. So, and
it's hard to, if you're in a hurry and trying to do something, it's hard to film a video, because it does slow you down a little bit, because I think people see that and they think magical. Well, that every time the camera changes means you had to get off and go move it or do something, you know. So there's more to it than just,
But I mean, that's the cool thing. YouTube time versus real life time. It's one of those, like, you can snap your fingers.
Oh, exactly. Half of the footage you film gets thrown away. That's what I always say. If you see a half-an-hour video, it was at least an hour to an hour and a half of footage that made that video. So, you know, that's just the way.
That's the bad thing, especially doing like the truck type stuff. I did a video swapping the seats there in my 98. I can't tell you how many times I had to move the camera because I'm working on the driver's
and it's right in your way.
Yep, right. Okay, I got to move it to the passenger side. Then I go to the passenger. Yeah, I mean, I spent what should have been probably a 3 or 4 hour pull the seats out, clean the inside, put the new seats out, was a 6 to 7 hour, because you're moving.
You're moving, doing something all the time. Yep. To get the shot, it's hard to get a view of what you're doing without it being in the way. So
exactly. I think. obviously Ross will post this video. I think I'm gonna try and get over to his place and we'll do a walk around and see all his farm equipment and stuff. Cause like I obviously grew up with it. You guys seen my grandpa's John Deere and stuff, and it's kind of what I was raised in. So I love the old iron and everything. I wish I just had more time and money to go out and buy them and save them, but like I said, it's hard to. Especially nowadays. I mean, you go and find a tractor 3 or 4 years ago was $1,000. They want $5,000 for them now.
I know. It's the cost of everything is what slows you down. I mean, and the parts. I mean, what used to be just cheap is now way more than it should be.
Well, I had a guy tell me the side emblems there on the hood. He said about 4 years ago he bought a set. The set cost him $100. I looked at the same website he told me, and those are now $80 a piece.
That figures. I mean,
yeah, that's
everything goes up, and and what do? You got to have it if you want it to be right. So
exactly. Dad's like, well, why don't we just stick the stickers on there?
It looks
like, we got to do it
the right way. Yeah, that's not. Plus, you put those emblems on, that's not something that goes bad. Even if you paint it later, you can still use them again. So it's not like it's. But yeah, I agree. I don't like it when you cheap out and just. I mean, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, good deal. Well, anything else we want to say or do before we...
I can't think of anything. I mean, like I said, I'm going to try and get over to your place and we'll get a video shot and stuff, but we'll definitely hopefully team up on something, whether it be working on this or...
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Just anything. I mean, I'm game for whatever. You let me know and I'll be there.
Alrighty. Well, good deal. We'll call this one here then, I guess, and check out his channel. I'll try to put the link in there, and yeah, we'll catch you on the next one. As always, if you enjoy my videos, give them a thumbs up. Leave a comment and tell me how dumb you think I am, or if by some slim chance you liked it, say that. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.